We just finished hitting the track in part 2 of our build series, Nitro Ready to Run to Race Buggy. So far, our MP9 ready set has held together rather well, and with the addition of our starter box from part 2, the engine fires with ease. We're back in the studio now. The car is dirty and dusty, and our stock Kyosho tires are nearly bald. We'll keep them for bashing or street driving, but they're not ideal for the track anymore. Our next order of business is to give our buggy a quick little dust off. I like using a big brush and an old toothbrush for those tight spots. I find if you don't have an air compressor, canned air works well. A big thank you to Thomas from our IT department for the saucy loan on that canned air. All right, it's part 3 time. Let's do it. Hitting the track last week, the car did really well. Surprisingly, for the track surfaces, it was really dry, loose, and kind of dusty. We were using pretty much bald tires out there, the tires that came on the car, but the car really held its own. It was pretty impressive. Now, I wouldn't want to take the car and just straight race it the way it was. Of course, we want to add some tires, but other than that, there are a few other small things that I think can really help benefit the car. First thing that I want to show you guys, between our carb and our gas tank, there is about 1.5 inches worth of fuel tubing in here. So for the first thing we're gonna do with this buggy today is we're gonna take out that really tiny piece of fuel tubing and we're gonna add in some extra long fuel tubing. And it all comes down to, if you flip on your lid, your engine is usually still running off of the fuel that's left in the fuel tubing. So if we were gonna go out there and race with that tiny little piece of fuel tubing, if we flipped, the turn marshal does not have much time to go and flip us over before the engine would die and stall out. So we've got this Mugen fuel tubing. We're gonna add that into the system here to lengthen up that tubing to give us a somewhat of an advantage out on the track compared to how this ready to run comes out of the box. Now there's one other thing that I'm gonna do when dealing with this tank, and I'm gonna add some of this heat shield tape along this outside wall or edge here of this gas tank. And then I'm gonna also take the inside of the body and I'm gonna add some of that heat shield tape right up in here. And it's just gonna try to help protect the Lexan a little bit. And by adding that heat shield tape, it will kind of somewhat, there's mixed opinions on it, but help shield out some of the heat that radiates off the exhaust pipe to keep the fuel that's inside the tank just a little bit cooler. This is a personal preference thing. Some people say it doesn't really do a whole lot because in a nitro car, just everything inside gets hot. And I think there is some truth to that, but nevertheless, we're gonna do that now. Somebody recommended these little plugs that you put in the fuel tubing. This is a really good recommendation. So we got a pack of them. So anytime you do work involving your tubing, you take this plug and put it in the open exposed side of the fuel tubing.
Kind of like that.
And that way when wrenching, there's no possibility of any dirt or contaminants getting inside that fuel tubing, which will later then flow into your engine. Before changing out the fuel tubing, I want to put that heat resistant tape on the side of the tank. So I'm going to take a little bit of nitro cleaner, spray my little paper towel, and then clean off the tank. When cleaning like this, it can kick up dust or dirt or little particles off the tank, so it's good to make sure that the tank nipples are plugged up so nothing can get inside. That looks pretty good. I have a little bit of excess. I'm just gonna cut it off here in a moment. This tape won't last forever on this tank. The tape will eventually wear out and you just have to reapply some more. Boom. Really quick, easy, and inexpensive. So now I'm gonna do the same thing to the inside of the body. So we do not wanna use nitro cleaner at all on this Lexan paint because it will rub through the paint as well as like rubbing alcohol. Instead, we're just gonna go use some, a little bit of water and then some soap. Nothing too heavy. Be right back. For any rub spots on Lexan bodies, you can use any decals. Like if you get an accessory or a package of parts or something and they come with a little thing of decals, use those decals, cut them out and use them in your body. They work really well to save the paint. Cool, that looks really good in there. We got the tape secured, it's trimmed, it's done. The first thing we want to do with brand new fuel tubing, every time you buy this stuff, it doesn't matter what kind it is or what color, you want to spray it out.
Oh yeah. Oh, let it out.
Okay, I feel better now. I'm gonna replace the exhaust tubing first because I know exactly how long it needs to be. I've got these little dynamite fuel clips. They say that they're the medium. They look kind of big. I hope these are the right size, but they're really inexpensive. You can use zip ties sometimes just to hold on the fuel tubing. There's a few different methods you can use, but it's a nice little assurance so that your tubing doesn't just fall off in the middle of a race. These clips are perfect size. So it looks something like this. It comes out of the tank, wraps around the air filter, wraps around over here, back into the carburetor. All right, where's my toothbrush? Oh, I was cleaning the car earlier. Have you guys seen the new tools yet? The True Torque SL, we just made a video on those. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. The title was just kind of a joke for some of you if you saw it. It said arguably the greatest tools ever. It was a joke. There's a lot of serious people in those comments though. They are really, really nice tools though. Next, we have a ProTech electronic switch. So the reason we're adding this is because in the very first video, we added a LiPo receiver battery pack. And this electronic setup has no LVC, low voltage cutoff. So this switch is really good to have. Yeah, so the LED on the switch, when the battery is between 80 and 100%, the light will be green. When the battery is between 60 and 79%, it'll be orange. And when the battery is between 20 to 59%, it will be red. And when it's 20% or lower, the LED will be blinking red. So cool, we're gonna put this in. It's just a little peace of mind to have an LVC inside this Nitro buggy because these LiPo batteries last so long as a receiver battery that you're often charging the battery just once and you can go out there and play all day and then just kind of forget about it. And then eventually you're like, wow, my servos seem slow. Wonder what's going on. It's the battery is drained way too far. Okay, our switch is in. Look how nice that looks in there. So let's give it a try. So to turn the car on, let's turn the transmitter on first. We just hold down the button. There's only one button for 3 seconds. So the green light, the power LED light, that's the one that tells us our remaining battery power, our remaining voltage. So since it's green right now, we're in that top tier of voltage between 80 and 100% voltage remaining in our battery pack. It's really cool that you can just look at that light and get a rough idea of the remaining voltage. It is all buttoned up. Switch is done, it's done, it's done. We finished what we set out to do. So we installed the switch, tested it, it works really well. We changed out the fuel tubing, so if we flip over on our lid, our engine won't die out right away. We added some heat shield tape to the side of the tank and to the body, as well as adding some little clips onto the fuel tubing where it connects to the nipples. And we even put on a brand new threw on a brand new ProTech pre-oiled air filter because they're awesome. I think these are like the #1 used items by the ProTech team drivers. They're just so convenient. So anyways, our buggy is all ready to go. We're dialed. Tires, we forgot tires.
Tires. Tires. They go on. Yeah. Tires.
Yes. Okay. I love new tires so much. So what we've got are 2 pairs of Proline Invaders. These are the S3 compounds, so they're a little bit more longer wear, good for high heat climates, environments, which is definitely where we are, what our situation is right now. Let's crack these open. Ooh, it has a particular smell. It's the smell of traction. Nice. These are good looking tires. Can you zoom in on that, Brett? Oh yeah. It was at this point that Brett forgot to finish the video. It must have been the sweet smell of long wear S3 compound rubber tires that intoxicated his senses. He just seemed to drift off into an imaginary, rap-filled fantasy full of nitro fumes, big roosts, and dust clouds. Stay tuned for part 4 of the Nitro Ready to Run to Race Buggy series. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for our future videos. If you'd like any more information on the products showed in this video, please check out the links down below in the description box. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave that for us down below as well. I'm Brett's better half from AMain Hobbies. Thanks for watching.